Get comfy because I am about to make you uncomfortable. Today we are going to discuss socialization. And yes, homeschool kids are socialized. And no, public school doesn't automatically socialize them. But I think a lot of us, I know I was, are making some mistakes when it comes to the socialization of our kids. So today we are going to talk it all out. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are wrapping up our 9th year of homeschooling, heading into our 10th year of homeschooling. I have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old, and today we are going to talk about homeschool socialization, and we are particularly going to hone in on how proximity does not equal community. Before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments and over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Let me start by saying, public school does not inherently socialize your children. I've talked about this ad nauseum. Every homeschool group you're in is going to tell you that homeschool kids are socialized, that public school kids or brick and mortar kids, traditional education model kids, are not inherently socialized. I agree with both of those things. But I think that we have almost taken those things for granted. And I know that I'm guilty of this. In the homeschool world, your kids are not inherently socialized in the exact same way that brick and mortar traditional model education kids are not inherently socialized. So you guys know the problem with the idea and the big complaint that everybody always has when you say, oh, I'm going to homeschool, and people say, well, what about socialization? Socialization in a traditional education model everybody just assumes that you make your friends because you're sitting next to people your same age, your same demographic, your same location, your same age group, your same usually learning capacity. They stick you in a fish tank of people who are the same as you, which is not socialization. It is not socialization. It is not putting you into society where there are different socioeconomic makeups, where there are different racial makeups, which yes, schools can have very diverse situations, but often they don't. Often they are a byproduct of the neighborhoods they are located in. I know in my suburban experiences, the norm is one style of child. The norm is one style of home. The norm is one situation is most prevalent, and experiences and exposure to a wide range of ethnicities, income levels, family dynamics isn't the norm in the suburban lifestyle situation. Again, we've got elementary schools located right inside our neighborhoods where the houses look the same, the families look the same, the situation looks the same, and that is not socialization, okay? Socialization, right in the word, social, society, it's built in. That's not what society looks like. So no, children at school are not inherently socialized. Now, people will ask you this because they and we and I make friends based on the places we are. We develop commonalities with the people we are near. And that's what we're going to talk about. Not always does proximity, literal distance to bodies, equal community. And this is something that I have learned time and time again, even as a mom in the world, right? Even as a homeschooling mom and a mother and a woman and a human. Proximity does not equal community. And we are guilty in the homeschool world of saying homeschoolers are socialized. Are homeschoolers socialized? Yeah, I like to think so. I like to think that we are. But it is not in the way that we automatically assume. Because if we say homeschoolers are socialized, we'll say, well, they go to co-op. Well, they go to these things. Well, they go to events. Well, we get them out. Is that the same? It's not. It's not. Because what we are doing when we answer things with, oh, will they go to co-op? Oh, will they go to science class? Oh, do they go to the things? That inherently does not create socialization. So let us not confuse what is happening? This is a message to all parents. And as homeschoolers, we get on this soapboxy pedestal of superiority when it comes around socialization. One, it is a pain point for us because we hear it. We all have heard it. We have all heard it, and we hear it again and again and again and again and again. What about socialization? First of all, socialization is not more important than their education. Okay, it's not. However, we do tend to take the superior approach as homeschoolers. Well, our kids are socialized and they get out in the world and they do things. However, the socialization, the social health of your child is not going to be met by just putting them in things. And this is something that I myself, as a homeschool mom, going into 10 years of experience, I had to be told this by my children. Yeah, there's nothing so great as a wake-up call that comes in the form of your children telling you that you are doing it wrong and that you are not best serving them. So if you are new here, if you are a parent, if you are just finding this video accidentally, hear this part right here. And it doesn't matter if you brick and mortar, private schools, homeschool, solo school, out school, unschool, homeschool, I don't care what it is. If you want to build community, true deep down socialization for your child, friendships, long lasting, whatever it is not going to be through proximity. So no, it's not going to be automatically attending a co-op. It's not going to be a science class. It's not going to be putting them in a classroom. It's not going to be any of those things. Your children, and the same way that you do, and I will tell you, as a parent, as a mother, as a human, when you go somewhere, who do you connect with? You connect with the people who have common interests, common values, common outlook on life. Those are the people that will be your community. It is not the people who you sit next to at car line drop-off pickup. It is not the people you sit next to at any of the things. It is the people who you wind up in a situation that you have both searched out intentionally based on your interests, your values, your trial, your risks, your entertainment. Those are the people that become your community. Okay? So stop confusing, I don't care what educational model your kids follow, proximity with community. What we need to do as parents, not as homeschoolers, and I do think homeschoolers inherently have a burden to try harder because we do not have the latent effects of a classroom or school setting. Because even in a classroom and school setting, if your kids are sent out to play soccer during PE, you will find kids that will love it together or they will loathe it together. We, as homeschoolers, do not inherently have that built in. So yes, we have to try harder. We do have to sign up. We have to do so much trial and error as homeschoolers, but as parents, to find the thing that your kid loves or loathes in commonality with others. And that is where we are missing the mark. It isn't socialization. It's not proximity. It's building community. So by searching out things, and yes, sometimes that can be a product of a co-op, be a product of an event, be a product of a science class, it is not inherently gained by the co-op, the product, the science class. Do you hear what I am saying? As parents, to properly socialize our children and build their community, we are going to find what they love. And that is a lot of work. And it can be very expensive, especially with the prices and costs and commitments of today's child activity scheme monopoly market. But that is where you will find your children's community. And we have had this experience for my oldest, dance very young. That's where she found her friend group. It was never through a homeschool situation. We just happened to homeschool. And then moved into theater, and then now has done homeschool theater things, so common interests and with homeschoolers. My youngest, it took a lot longer, and I have stressed and sweat every step in the way. So please know that this just comes from being on the backside of it, that I know it will be okay if you pursue interest things. And we struggled, and I sweat and I stayed up at night and worried, especially compared to the second one to the first one, until it was evident to me what had happened. And it was not proximity. It was common interests, common goals, working together. And for my youngest, so dance is inherently a group thing. For my youngest, it's like, well, let's search out the group things. And we tried basketball and volleyball and so many things that were group oriented. She's not a group oriented kid. We have finally found things that do fill the social bucket, build the community. But we had to go through a lot of proximity first. So yes, proximity is the first step, but that intentional proximity, that is going to be where you find your community. So if you are wondering, yes, we've gone there, we've done it. It took a little longer, but we've made it. And that was through really analyzing, really trying so many things. And of course, it's never the path of the first child, but we have achieved it. We've gotten there and we've established community for honestly our whole family around her interests, her needs, and where she thrives. And that is in Girl Scouts and in art. Those are the two places where she has, come out of her shell, found her people, found her vibe, found her community. And yes, first it started with proximity, just trying all the things, but then finding a way to make the proximity equate to socialization, community, and true friendships. But proximity does not inherently become community. It does not inherently become socialization. So yes, homeschoolers are socialized. And yes, a latent effect of brick and mortar education models is socialization. But we do not just have the gamut. We don't have the win. We don't have the award for automatic socialization because we take our kids into the world. That isn't socialization. It is proximity. Proximity does not inherently equate to community. And what we all need as humans is community. So I want you to really think about parents all across the board. I don't care what educational model you choose. Remember, community is built in common interests, common goals. And yeah, first step is proximity because you got a lot of trial and error out there. And I am sorry because the current kid activity market is honestly a wreck. It's so expensive to do anything these days. And it's so hard to try things without that big commitment and that big investment. But maybe start small. Maybe start with trial classes. Maybe start with playing basketball down at the park to see if that's a thing. Maybe it's online forums. Maybe it is the science class that teaches you that we're going to do a whole robotics committee for our homeschool born out of a need from our science class or born out of a need from our co-op. Just remember, we don't hold the market on socialization and neither does public school. Proximity doesn't automatically equate to community. And what we all need is community. Find a way to find your community for your kids, okay? Socialization's great. Yes, my kids can talk to adults, they can go into the world. But what we need, what fills buckets, is community. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I am very curious, what's your take on this? What do you think about this? Because I do think that as homeschoolers, we get so righteous and so defensive. Our kids are socialized. And yeah, they are. But not in incredibly different ways than public schoolers. But we tend to feel like we're better, that we're superior because it's different. Is it more in line with society? Sure, it is. And it's good and it's great and it's wonderful. But we need to be transitioning, growing that proximity to community. Because if we aren't, are we really doing our job? Are we really better? Are we really superior? Which I know homeschoolers tend to have this so much better than. Is that the case? I want to hear your take on this, because I know that, again, it's going to make some people really uncomfortable. And there's going to be people who try, or people who tell me that they don't have resources in their area. If you can't find a resource, be the resource. And that's easier for me to say in a big city than is able in a lot of places. Get crafty, get creative. I want your feedback. So give it to me, lay it on me. And together, let's keep having uncomfortable conversations and expanding the conversation around not just homeschool or public school, but expanding the conversation around education, around parenting, and around community. Let's grow this bigger so that together we can make everyday magic.